Ladies, what is the most obvious hint you've dropped that went unnoticed by a guy?
I have a pole in my living room. So one day I dressed like a schoolgirl and waited for my boyfriend to get home. He walks in and I started doing some pole tricks and he literally walked past me into the bedroom to change. I was like, ah, hello, I'm trying to fuck, and he said, oh, I just thought you were dressed like that. He kinda killed it. Early interaction with my boyfriend: me, that suit looks great on you. It would look better on the floor. Him, that would wrinkle the suit.
I look back on it now and see how I totally missed the hint. In college, a girl in my class came over to study, and when it got late she ended up wanting to stay. I had a couch in my room and said she could sleep on the couch. When I was getting ready for bed, I usually have a hard time falling asleep. Do you want to lay down together and watch Netflix with me? Me, nah, I got a test tomorrow. But hey, I got an A on that damn test. Christina, if you're out there, I'm not gay, I'm just oblivious to hints.
He asked if I had a boyfriend and said he was nervous to try start something with me. I explicitly said no, I don't, and you shouldn't be. Yet he does nothing. 4 months later we eventually end up going out, still together now. My then not boyfriend and I were waiting at the train station on my train home. He would leave with the bus after it arrived. My train came and I thought fuck it and kissed my then not boyfriend on the mouth. Immediately after, I jumped on the train, on which the doors then closed. I didn't see his reaction nor felt it, so I sat pretty anxious on the train, thinking I ruined it all. About 5 minutes later, I got a text saying, "That was meant as a friend's kiss, right?" Lol, bless his heart. Last summer I was doing my best to seduce who is my current boyfriend. We were going swimming at a friend's house, and while they were changing into their bathing suits in the house, me and him make our way to the pool. I take advantage of this moment to strip in front of him, as sensual as possible. Bathing suit was underneath my clothes. He runs past me, full sprint, and cannonballs into the pool. Put out my hand for him to hold and he high-fived me.
I knew this girl for a year and had kinda had feelings for her the whole time. We got close for a few weeks, and one time I'm watching some films at hers. It gets late and I start to head out. She says, "I don't want you to go." Thinking she was just feeling lonely or whatever, I follow her upstairs and we get in bed. And do nothing. Lights go out, we start going to sleep. I'm sitting there the whole time thinking, damn, I wish I had the balls to make a move but don't. Then she sits up, takes her top off in a way I couldn't possibly miss, and lies down again. Still, I don't get that she's trying to make moves on me. 10 minutes later she finally gives up and just kisses me. She mocked me about this for months after.
One time I was texting my boyfriend and told him that I bought a vibrator for the night he was away at work or something rather. His exact response was, "Oh cool, what color?" I sent him a pic of it and he replied with, "Can you put it up your butt too?" I sent him a text replying, "Come over and find out," and he replied 2 minutes later, "Never mind, I just googled it." Edit, haha, over 1K upvotes. Thanks guys, I hope my failed attempt at sexting brightened your day or something heart.
You are really cute and I like you. Met with complete silence. Later on that dude told me that he does not accept compliments well. We have already planned the next few dates. Me. So you're saying, if I like this guy, I should just be straightforward and ask him out? Him. Yeah. Me. Okay, do you want to go out with me this Friday? Him. Yeah, just like that, it was perfect. Me. Edit. Whoops, totally forgot about this. Yeah, this was like 10 years ago, so this is how I remember it. I was trying to feel him out before that because I really had no idea if he was into me at all, and if he said no, then I could kind of play it off as a joke. I was a teenager, give me a break lol. After the pause, I repeated myself but put emphasis on you and he laughed and said yes, smile.
I love to share this one. A long time before my husband and I started dating, we were partying in my apartment. He said he was going to crash on the couch. I told him, "You can come sleep in my bed." I shit you not, he said, "Well, where would you sleep? I can't kick you out of your bed."
At the end of high school, I found out that one of my close female friends had a huge crush on me for years, and I had missed all of her signals. We remained chat buddies as we went through college, and at one point she invited me to her sorority's yearly ball. I said sure, that sounds like fun. Still didn't get it. As soon as we arrived at the ball, one of her sorority sisters sidled up to me and whispered, "Careful, we spiked the punch a lot. Don't drink too much, you'll thank me later." Okay, starting to wonder. While I was debating in my head whether to try flirting with her or not, my friend sat on my lap, looked at me, and said, "Mine." The rest of the night was glorious.
Back when my boyfriend and I were just friends, there was a night I spent at his apartment after hanging out together all day. I was going to sleep on the couch, but I managed to talk my way into his bedroom. To get myself into his room, I think I said his roommate saw his neighbors were too loud. He got back up to get me a pillow and a blanket so I could sleep on his floor. I had taken off my bra and had asked to borrow his sweater at this point. After a while, I joked that he was hogging all the blankets up in his bed. He finally invited me up. So then I said I couldn't sleep, and suggested we stay up together to watch a movie, Netflix and chill. I had just read in an AskReddit thread that Jurassic Park was a good date movie, so I suggested we watch it on his phone. Without mentioning the date movie part, I was beyond nervous at this point. So we're in his bed, he's holding the phone above our eyes, and I decide to lean on his shoulder and slowly begin the process of inching closer to him. We laid there all night, curled up yet barely touching, neither of us breaking the spell for so much as a peck on the cheek. We fell asleep. He wouldn't end up asking me out until 5 months later. We reenacted this scene on a hotel bed after sneaking up a bottle of wine from his office Christmas party. This time, I decided to stop being so shy. After a few sips of white wine, I finally felt brave. I looked up into his eyes and kissed him. Later that night, we admitted that our mutual hesitation during that first night was due to nerves from not wanting to risk our friendship for a one-night stand. The only potential problem in us jumping into the relationship was our distance, because we were living almost 2 hours away from each other. So less than a week after that, I took the bus down to stay for another night. I told him I loved him and that we should try being together anyway. We've been together ever since, and we're moving in together in a few weeks.
Sighs. So I've actually had sex with a girl before realizing she was actually into me. She knocks on my dorm room door wearing a miniskirt and carrying a chocolate cake, a whole chocolate cake, and says she just baked it and was wondering if I'd like to try some. I tell her that I'm not a big fan of chocolate, crushing her, but was intelligent enough to add that I'd like try it anyway. We set the cake aside. I invite her in and she asks what I'm up to. I tell her the truth, that I was about to start watching V for Vendetta, and she squeals that she loves that movie and asks if she can watch it with me. We lay down on my unfolded futon and start watching it together under a blanket. This was in the dead of Boston winter. We are watching the movie and she starts making all these comments about Hugo Weaving. I love Hugo Weaving so much. God, Hugo Weaving is so hot. Man, Hugo Weaving makes me so horny. And all this time I'm like, yeah, he's a great actor, I loved him in The Matrix. Maybe 20 minutes pass by and all of a sudden I feel her rubbing up against me and she's, well, touching herself. Sorry, I hope you don't mind, I just got really horny and couldn't help myself. And here I am thinking I'm the luckiest dope in the world and I'm so glad I picked a movie that had Hugo Weaving in it. Of course I say something like, oh, that's okay. I understand. I have actresses that really do that for me, too. And I do absolutely nothing because I still don't get that she's coming on to me. Another 10 minutes of this pass before she just turns to me and asks, can I suck your dick? And my mind, my very underdeveloped pathetic mind, my very first thoughts were Hugo Weaving is such a great wingman and damn talk about being in the right place at the right time. It took me another year before I realized it was all a ruse to get to me and I could have been watching any damn movie at all the whole time with more or less the same result.
Hint. Want to have sex in the shower later? Response. Sure. Later. In the shower. Waiting forever. Door left cracked open. I give up. Question. Why didn't you go me into the shower? Response. Oh. I didn't know you wanted me to. Crickets. This has happened more than once.
I had basically moved in with him because his ex had basically moved herself into my apartment and I kept coming home from work to find random guys from Tinder she was fucking there. Long story. Anyway, I was at his house all the time, and went from sleeping on the couch to sleeping in his room on the extra mattress to sleeping in his bed to cuddling him to sleeping in his bed entirely naked and rubbing myself against him for several nights before anything happened. We're married now, so it worked out for me, but geez.
Not exactly an answer to the cue, but related. I was dating a guy who told me up front that he was terrible at picking up the signs that someone liked him, was flirting, etc. So on our third date, we planned that he would stay the night at my place. I thought that was pretty obvious, but just to make sure, I put a bunch of condoms on a platter on the bed, with notes all around it, pointing to the platter that said, "This is a sign." He thought it was hilarious. We had sex. It was awesome.
Halloween morning 2014, he knocked on my door to drive me to work. We had been friends for a month and he wouldn't make a move, so he answered the door and at the shirt and cat ears and absolutely nothing else, that bastard walked right past me and looked for coffee in the kitchen. We've been married 10 months now, cara sonriendo ligeramente. He claims I totally knew my intentions but knew being a gentleman would get him farther. I say yes, full of it. Holy crude nuggets. This is my top comment ever, thanks internet strangers.
Nothing reminds you better how unattractive you are than reading these sorts of threads. And realizing no woman has ever dropped any hint remotely similar to these to you. Thank you so much for watching. Please leave a comment, subscribe for more content, and don't forget to smash the shit out of that like button. Infinite upvotes will make your dreams come true.